today, September 28th. I'm so happy that you are here to share with us and participate in our government. At this time, I believe we have a couple of proclamations, and we are going to get to the business of recognizing some very important persons. Commissioner Covo.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, everyone. It's so nice to be here this Thursday with all of you guys. Today, we are going to be giving a proclamation to Dr. Douglas Roberts, who's here. This proclamation is a proclamation from the City of Miami, whereas the Board of Trustees of the Philip and Patricia Frost Museum of Science has selected Douglas Roberts, PhD, as its new president and CEO. Dr. Roberts is a distinguished leader with a wealth of experience in science education and research. And whereas Dr. Roberts assumed this role following his successful tenure as the museum's Vice President of Science Education and Director of the Frost Planetarium since July 2022. Dr. Roberts has also been serving as an interim co-CEO since April 2023. Whereas with over 2 decades of expertise in connecting science education and academic research, Dr. Roberts has continually championed the critical role of science, visualization, and communication in advancing learning experiences. Dr. Roberts received his PhD in physics from the University of Oklahoma and has contributed to the study of black holes, star formation, and other topics. Throughout his career, he has spearheaded research, technology, and public engagement initiatives for STEAM institutions, including the University of Illinois, Northwestern University, and the Adler Planetarium in Chicago. Whereas most recently he played a pivotal role in fortifying the education and technology efforts at the Fort Worth Museum of Science and History. Whereas Dr. Roberts' appointment reflects the museum's unwavering commitment to community engagement and elevating the standards of science education. His extensive background in both education and research uniquely positions him to drive the institution's mission. Now, therefore, our Mayor, Francis Suarez, Mayor of the City of Miami, Florida, and myself, Commissioner Sabina Cobo, celebrate and honor Dr. Douglas Roberts, who's here and who I would invite to come up here. Yes, please, if everyone can come. No, please come up. Please come up. Thank you. And I need to add, I'm a huge fan of the museum. My children love it. Their friends love it. I think that we need more entities like this in the city of Miami, and I'm proud to be giving you this proclamation along with my colleagues.
Well,
congratulations. Would you want to say something?
Oh, yes. Thank you. Appreciate it. I wanted to thank for you, Commissioner Covo, for this great honor, and for the commissioners and Mayor Suarez for acknowledging my background. Just a little bit about myself. All those places I went to and my interest in science came from visiting great museums, and Frost Science is the Great Museum of Miami, and I look forward so much to making it better and more integrated in with the cultural community here. Since I've only been here a year, I've been so welcomed into the community. It's been so fabulous to see the diversity, the passion for science and education, and the desire to work together to make Miami a better city. And I think being that inspiration for the next generation of not just scientists, but people to engage with wonder and curiosity in their own lives, and whatever that might be, great museums have a big part of that. And I think Frost Sciences has that opportunity to be that for the residents of Miami, as well as when we bring our friends and family into the city, being able to take them to an amazing museum just helps to everyone to both understand the value of science and to have fun. I think making the museum fun is really important. We're getting ready to open an exhibition on sharks in a few weeks, and I also encourage everyone to go out, either come to Frost Science, or I have one prop here. It's eclipse glasses. There's 2 solar eclipses. We have some glasses in the back, and we've dropped some glasses at with the commissioners. And so between noon and 3 o'clock on October 14th, take one of these glasses, go outside, and watch over the next 3 hours how the moon crosses in front of the sun. These kind of unique events that you can only see from one place in the world from one time again, I remember the clips that I first saw as a kid, and hopefully the children in Miami will also have that experience to remember this eclipse. But this is such a great honor, and I'll remember this always. Thank you.
Thanks to you. Thanks to you for all you do.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you again,
Congratulations
Commissioner.
again. And thank you for the glasses.
Yeah, there you go. These are you.
And we have more in the
We have
office.
more.
You can take this for you. Yes, because the other ones are in the office. So we have one more proclamation today. Cancer is an illness, is the second most aggressive illness that kills people in the United States, and I think that in the world. And many of us have been either close to having cancer, have had a pre-cancer, or some of our loved ones were part of it. My father, he's a dermatologist, and he's been treating skin cancer all of his life, and he was part, and he's still part of La Liga contra el Cáncer. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we have an amazing employee, our Director of Communications, Josie Galindo, that she's here. And I'm actually getting emotional because I've seen how she's navigating with her mother right now, a very aggressive cancer. And she had the amazing idea of actually giving a proclamation to the League Against Cancer. And I'm not gonna be able to read this proclamation, so maybe, Madam Chair, would you please read it for me? Because
You're welcome. Today, we are going to recognize the League Against Cancer. Whereas the League Against Cancer was founded in Florida in 1975, modeled after a similar organization that began serving cancer patients in 1925 in Havana, Cuba. And whereas in Miami, LIGA's Medical Center serves as an intake and treatment facility for individuals who have been diagnosed with cancer, and whereas LIGA accepts patients, children, and adults without distinction of race, creed, or nationality, provides free case management and all services required for each patient, and whereas the League Against Cancer has served 70,000 persons from 51 countries since its foundation in 1975, whereas many families have been saved, much suffering has been spared, and many destitute cancer victims have been able to die with a level of dignity usually reserved for those who have medical insurance or personal wealth. And now, therefore, our mayor, Francis Suarez, our commissioner, Sabina Covo, and my colleagues recognize League Against Cancer. And in observance thereof, I call upon all the good people of the city of Miami and the Honorable City Commission to join in honoring and celebrating League Against Cancer.
and I would like to invite Adriana Cora, former president of La Liga, and now volunteer, and Manny Alonso, volunteer and director of the Telemarathon, and Josie Galindo. You should be up here with us as well. Come on over. Want to say something? Sure. And this is
Adriana.
Adriana,
Dale, Adri.
your turn to speak. I'm not very good at speeches, but anyways,
This is an honor for us. We are grateful for Ms. Cobo that thought about it. If you don't know about La Liga, well, she's explained it more or less. We have been here for almost 50 years now, and it's still going, kicking, alive. And the commission has always, always been very good to us, very good to us. So thank you, especially to you to start it, and Mr. Carollo, and a very special thanks to Commissioner Manolo Reyes for all the goodies that he brings us. Oh, okay. He is the godfather of La Liga. So thank you. We appreciate it.
You want to say something, Manny? Thank you. Okay. They have been volunteers. They have been part of La Liga for many years. Adriana was a vice president, ex-vice president. It was ex-vice president. And you were a president and CEO, right?
No. So Adriana's our executive vice
I want
president.
you to
Yeah.
explain how you have been a volunteer
Right.
for La Liga for many years and your work as a director of the Telemarathon.
Right. So Adriana and I, but Adriana is our executive vice president. We have our president, which is Dr. Luis Villa, and I am director for the telethon and also for development of La Liga. We are all volunteers. Adriana has been with La Liga for many years. Adriana is a two-time cancer survivor. I'm also a cancer survivor. I started with La Liga since I've been 8 years old as a cangrejito, which participates since young in La Liga, since you're kids with high school and stuff. This has been an institution that, as we said, that started in Cuba. It was brought down by a lot of our doctors and other volunteers from Cuba, and it started here in Miami. If it's not the oldest nonprofit organization, it's one of the oldest nonprofit organizations. And one of the biggest things that we could say is that thanks to this commission and this board, all these commissioners, these fine commissioners, and the mayor, you guys always have said present to the League Against Cancer. The League Against Cancer is a one-of-a-kind organization, as I always say. There's many organizations that are great and wonderful, but the League Against Cancer, for me, stands out there because we treat the patient. So unfortunately, when that person is diagnosed with cancer and you do not have the money or you do not have the insurance or you do not have the means, the League Against Cancer is there to treat that person. So the word cancer, when they say already to one person, it already strikes you hard. Imagine when you don't have the funds or the money or even the insurance to say how you're going to battle this. That is why the League Against Cancer is there, and that's why we give thanks to all of you, not only for the proclamation, but to continue the support that you keep on giving all these fine people in South Florida that opportunity to save and keep on saving lives. So thank you very much once again.
Thank you. And that we can all be volunteer. Thank you, my commissioner.
Mwah. I love you.
Ven, Joseph. Madam Chair, thank you so much.
And at this time, we are going to start our meeting with prayer. Today we have Bishop Paul Moss of St. Matthew Free Will Baptist Church to give us our prayer this morning. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. Good morning, everyone. With all heads, bows, and minds clear, let us go before the Lord. Heavenly Father, Lord God, in the name of Jesus, we come before you in that humble name, a name, Lord God, that you have granted us to use, utilize, and pray through, Lord God, to reach you. And we come collectively, corporately, as well as individually, asking you to bless us as you purpose to bless us, not only in this endeavor, not only today, but forevermore. Continue to bless this council, oh God, in every area of its extended being. We know that you sit high, you look down low, you know everything about us, one by one and name by name. You even know what's lying on the table of our hearts, even right now. And so, God, I ask you to bless it according to your divine will and purpose. Bless each individual, from the greatest to the least and the least to the greatest. You know their heart's desire and all that you purpose to do, oh God, this day and forevermore through them, because all powers are ordained by you. I ask that you do it for your glory and all our good. In Jesus' name we do pray. And they that love the Lord God said, amen. Amen. God bless you. Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Carollo? To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. I want to say good morning to my colleague, Commissioner Manolo Reyes. Buenos dias. And at this time, I will have our city attorney provide the statement for our
Oh, I'm
records.
sorry, Madam Chair, good morning.
Good
to
morning.
all of you. I'm sorry I cannot be there with you, but pretty soon you're going to be seeing me.
Glad to have you. Glad to
Thank
have you. Madam City Attorney?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Detailed information about the process, order of business, rules of procedure, and scheduling or rescheduling of City Commission meetings can be found in Chapter 2, Article 2 of the City Code, a copy of which is available online at www.municode.com. Any person who is a lobbyist pursuant to Chapter 2, Article 6 of the City Code must register with the city clerk and comply with the related city requirements for lobbyists before registering and appearing before the City Commission. A person may not lobby a city official, board member, or staff member until registering. A copy of the code section about lobbyists is available in the city clerk's office or online at www.municode.com. Any person making a presentation, formal request, or petition to the City Commission concerning real property must make the disclosures required by the City Code in writing. A copy of this City Code section is available at the office of the City Clerk or online at www.municode.com. The City of Miami requires that anyone requesting action by the City Commission must disclose before hearing any consideration provided or committed to anyone for agreement to support or withhold objection to the requested action pursuant to City Code Section 2-8. Any documents offered to the City Commission that have not been provided 7 days before the meeting as part of the agenda materials will be entered into the record at the City Commission's discretion. In accordance to Section 2-33F and G of the City Code, the agenda and material for each item on the agenda is available during business hours at www.municode.com. Any heard by the City Commission through the chair for not more than 2 minutes on any proposition unless modified by the chair. Public comment will begin at approximately 9 a.m. and remain open until public comment is closed by the chair. Members of the public wishing to address the body may do so by submitting written comments via the online comment form. Please visit www.miamigov.com/meeting instructions for detailed instructions on how to provide public comment using the comment form. The comments submitted through the form have been and will be distributed to elected officials, their staff, and city administration throughout the day so that elected officials may consider the comments prior to taking any action. Additionally, the online form will remain open during the meeting to accept comments and distribute to elected officials, their staff, and city administration up until the chair closes public comment. Public comment may also be provided live at City Hall, located at 3500 Pan American Drive, Miami, Florida, subject to any and all city rules as may be amended. If a proposition is being continued or rescheduled, the opportunity to be heard may be at such later date before the City Commission takes action on such proposition. When addressing the City Commission, the member of the public must first state their name, their address, and what item will be spoken about. Any person with a disability requiring assistance, auxiliary aids, and services for this meeting may notify the city clerk. The city has provided different public comment methods to indicate, among other things, the public's support, opposition, or neutrality on items and topics to be discussed at the City Commission meeting in compliance with Section 286.0114 Florida statutes. The public has been given the opportunity to provide public comment during the meeting and within reasonable proximity and time before the meeting. Please note, commissioners have generally been briefed by city staff and the city attorney's office on items on the agenda today. Anyone wishing a verbatim record of an item considered at this meeting may request it at the Office of Communications or view it online at www.miamigov.com. PZ items shall proceed according to Section 7.1.4 of the Miami 21 zoning ordinance. Parties for any PZ items, including any applicant, appellant, appellee, city staff, or any person recognized by the decision-making body as a qualified intervener, as well as the applicant's representatives and experts testifying on behalf of the applicant, appellant, or appellee may be physically present at City Hall to be sworn in by oath or affirmation by the clerk. The members of the City Commission shall disclose any ex parte communications pursuant to Section 286.0115 and Section 7.1.4.5 of the Miami 21 zoning ordinance. The order of presentation shall be as set forth in Miami 21 and the City Code. Staff will briefly present each item to be heard. The applicant will present its application or request to the City Commission. If the applicant agrees with staff recommendation, the City Commission may proceed to its deliberation and decision. The applicant may also waive the right to an evidentiary hearing on the record. For appeals, the appellant will present its appeal to the City Commission, followed by the appellee. Staff will be allowed to make any recommendation they may have. Please silence all cell phones and other noise-making devices at this time. This meeting can be viewed live on Miami TV, the city's Facebook page, the city's Twitter page, the city's YouTube channel, and Comcast Channel 77. The broadcast will also have closed captioning. Virtual attendance. Pursuant to advisory legal opinion AGO 2020-03, issued on March 19, 2020, the Florida Attorney General opined that consistent with prior Attorney General opinions, a member of a local government body who is physically unable to attend a meeting because of medical treatment or due to medical reasons can participate and vote in meetings where a quorum of the other members is physically present. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam City Attorney. Mr. City Clerk, would you please read your statement for the record?
Thank you, Chair. The procedures for individuals providing testimony to sworn for planning and zoning items and any quasi-judicial items in today's City Commission will be as follows. The members of city staff or any other individuals required to be sworn in who are currently present at City Hall will be sworn by me, the City Clerk, immediately after I finish explaining these procedures. Those individuals who are appearing remotely may be sworn in now or any time prior to the individual providing testimony for planning and zoning items and or quasi-judicial items. Commissioners, are you comfortable with all the notice provisions set forth in these uniform rules and procedures we have established at the meeting? And Chair, if I may administer the oath for the planning and zoning items? Thank you, Chair. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. If you're speaking on any of today's planning and zoning items, may I please have you stand and raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give at today's hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and your response is? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. City Clerk. Mr. City Manager, do you have any items that will be withdrawn or deferred from the agenda?
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners, Madam City Attorney, Mr. City Clerk. At this time, the administration would like to defer and or withdraw the following items. CA4 to be deferred to October 26th. RE3 to be deferred to November 16th. FR1 to be indefinitely deferred. PZ5 to be indefinitely deferred. PZ13 to be deferred to October 12th. PZ14 to be deferred to October 12th. and PZ 15 to be deferred to October 12th. That concludes the items.
Thank you.
The second deferment that you mentioned, after CA4,
Yes, sir.
what number was it?
RE3?
RE3.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. City Manager, I'd like to be named the sponsor for PZ9. Mr. Vice Chair, do you have any items you'd like to defer or withdraw?
Not at this point in time.
Okay. Madam,
Madam Chair, I don't want to defer FR1. I want to pull it for a discussion. Please, it's important.
All right?
That will
yes,
be-
okay, that's fine. Madam City Attorney, do we have any pocket items?
Madam Chair, you didn't ask me.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Commissioner Reyes, do you have any items that you would like to have?
No, ma'am, not at this time.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Lo siento, lo siento. Madam City Attorney, do we have any pocket items today?
Madam Chair, I believe we have one pocket item that you're graciously sponsoring for the administration that has to do with executing the Florida Division of Emergency Management's Florida Recovery Obligation Calculation Program Participation Form.
Mr. City Clerk?
I have one pocket item. It's a board appointment. Commissioner Foyle will be making an appointment to the Bayfront Park Management Trust.
So, Mr. City Clerk, will the Bayfront pocket item be pocket item 1?
We can make the one that the city attorney referenced, PI1, and we can make
PI1?
the board appointment PI2.
Okay,
And I do have a brief statement I need to read into the record for PZ5.
please.
Pursuant to Section 62-22 of the City Code, an indefinitely deferred action initiated by the city will cost the city mail noticing, advertising, and posting of properties as applicable. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. And at this time, I understand that we have personal
Chair,
appearances.
my apologies. Is there a motion?
I'm sorry, is there a motion to
Move it.
accept? Motion by Commissioner Reyes, second?
Second.
By Vice Chair, all in favor?
Aye.
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 The agenda has now been set. And we have some personal appearances. Mr. Eddie Liao, good morning.
Minutes just to set up, please. I'll be quick.
Ay.
Caigas. Good morning. Okay. Testing, testing. Good morning. Okay. We're good. Thank you. Ready to begin. Good morning, Commissioner. Good morning, the staff. I first want to say thank you. I worked with your staff at the last commission meeting to get some of the documents, and thank you, Victoria. We were able to get some of them. I know there's some missing, and I will work those after, but at this point, I'm ready to proceed to discuss on this particular important topic. I want to first talk about the city's master plan. The City Parks Master Plan, as you all remember, was recently approved by this commission. It was a long-lasting effort of almost 5 years. The city consultant was retained on August 29th, 2018. It took 5 years to develop, and I think we incurred, at least a professional services agreement, almost $500,000 in order to develop this agreement. It's a combination of more than 200 pages, and one of them I want to highlight for you is page 185, and in the master plan, what they did was they identified areas that are park deserts. I'm about to say something that I'm sure is very well known to all of you commissioners and to the residents that are here. The area that is highlighted, that is the Brickell area, is an area that has been widely identified as in need of park, particularly park space. And it's highlighted again on the parks master plan that identifies that, among other areas, as an area of park desert. Now, ironically, I want to talk about one of the remaining parks in our district, in District 2, particularly the Brickell area. It's the Alan Morris Park. And there's an image of the park as it used to be at some point. Now, there were 2 recent resolutions that were considered by this commission. One of them was on May 11th, 2023. And that resolution that incorrectly cited to the wrong appellate case, the commissioner directed the city attorney's office to abandon a park and to not protect this park. An area that was not that long ago identified as a park desert. Now, I was surprised to see that because on March 9th, 2023, the city presented a 47-page brief that sought to protect the park. And there was no discussion of the merits of the brief. There was no shade meeting that took place ever to discuss this legal proceeding. If, with your permission, I would like to introduce this, and I'm happy to share with the clerk. Todd, may I share this with you so you can publish when necessary? Thank you. And this was entered in the appellate court of the 3rd DCA, and I'm referring to the City of Miami versus 1000 Brickell LTD in the 3rd DCA court of this jurisdiction. It makes, I think, very strong and compelling arguments by your city attorney's office that would have resulted in a reversal of the decision by the trial court. It made very simple points, and I'm going to address you, Chairwoman, because I think you're the only attorney on the dais, but I know many of you are very adept on legal matters. One of the arguments that was raised was the statute of limitations have passed for you to file a lawsuit. 5 years is what Florida law requires, and they highlighted that in the brief. In addition, Chairwoman, you and I know, and I think all the commissioners here know, that you cannot prevail on a summary judgment when there are competing narratives. You have to go to trial. And that would have resulted, that's typically how most summary judgments result in a reversal. That was never discussed. But it, unfortunately, it gets, in my humble opinion, worse. Ironically, the same day that this commission approves a park master plan that identifies Brickell to be an area of being a park desert, you approve through a pocket item a settlement agreement that does the following. With no discussion from the public, and I've made it very clear in my past and even working at the city, that pocket items should not be used to approve settlement agreements that have long-term consequences, particularly that we're abandoning a park. What did that settlement agreement did that allowed no opportunity for the public to be heard? One, it allowed a massive rezoning, so no longer CS, civic space, to a skyscraper as high as 48 stories. What makes it worse is that we, the taxpayers, are actually going to be paying for the rezoning. So we are paying the notice, we're paying the application, we're paying everything on the application. I've never seen this done before.
Thank you.
Let me, if I may finish. Please?
You had 5 whole minutes there. As an attorney, you know you have to make your arguments succinct.
Understood. Let me.
30 seconds.
Thank you.
30 seconds.
In addition, there was no consideration of no net loss. If you're going to take a park out, you need to bring a park in. That's the law that we currently have on the books. So in conclusion, we have, through this process, abandoned a park in an area that is densest in our city, allowed a massive rezoning, the taxpayers are paying for it. So in light of these findings, I humbly request that you reconsider this decision and honor our commitment to parks. I think this agreement is unenforceable, and you can
Thank
consider
you.
at a minimum.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Chair,
Yes.
before he steps down, I'm curious about something that I want to get to. At the time you were working in the city of Miami?
I was an employee at some point in the city of Miami. Yes, Commissioner.
Okay, so you were an employee at the mayor's office, correct?
Yes.
You were the one that was in charge of bringing his agenda to the commission and be the liaison, correct?
No, your Commissioner. I was
Well, tell me exactly your title at the time and what you did.
General Counsel, Commissioner.
A general counsel for the mayor.
Yes.
But you were here all the time bringing his agenda, correct?
Some of the items, not all the items, Commissioner.
You were aware that this was brought to the commission and the resolution that was approved by the commission?
No, Commissioner. I was not a city employee at the time that these resolutions were being introduced. Not at all, Commissioner.
Okay, so, well, you got me confused. Before you said you were an employee then, now you're telling me that you're not. Which is it?
Commissioner, the deadlines that we have highlighted here, I was not a city employee. This was done during 2023. I was not a city employee.
Okay, but you were a city employee right prior to it, right? For a long time for the mayor's office.
For some time before any of these resolutions saw the day of light. I
Did
was not
you-
part of the city.
Since you stated you were his general counsel, you also stated that you represented him here, and I certainly remember anything of importance. You were the face that was sent down here to speak to the commission and address the commission on the mayor's behalf. Did you call him up and explain this to him so he could veto it? Because this is not vetoed by the mayor, correct?
This was not vetoed by the mayor.
Okay, but you had that opportunity to speak to him and explain it so he could veto it, correct?
If I understand your question,
Well, what I'm asking you is, did you, at any point in time, speak to the mayor so he would veto this?
no, actually, I spoke and I wrote an open letter about this to the commissioner, and I'm happy to share with you a copy of it.
No. What I'm asking is, since you had a direct contact with the mayor, that you, at any point, when this was approved by the commission through a resolution, that at any point did you contact the mayor so that he would veto it?
No, I did not
Okay.
reach out to the mayor. I reached out to my commissioner,
That's all that
and
I
I
want to know.
have it in writing here.
Yeah, well,
Thank you. I believe we have another personal appearance, Mr. Javier Fernandez.
Madam Chair, just I think that Alamoris Park is now Commissioner Carollo in your district.
Yes, it is now in my district. That's correct.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair. For the record, Javier Fernandez, law office at 1200 Brickell Avenue, on behalf of 1000 Brickell LTD, the party that was in litigation and the subject of the settlement that Mr. Hidalgo was referencing. I do not have a formal presentation for you today. A lot has been said. I think some of it factually incorrect. I don't want to get into the sincerity of today's arguments. If the commission has any questions about what our intentions were in trying to facilitate the settlement, I will just briefly say this is a situation that was in litigation for 9 years. I applaud this board for bringing it to a conclusion. We are happy that the park is back in service to the public and available to them for use. Members of the family were here this week touring various projects that the company is sponsoring, and we were pleased to see that 5 or 6 people were having lunch on Tuesday when we visited the park and enjoying that public space, which has not been available for public enjoyment for the last 23 years. And with that, if you have any questions for me, I'm happy to take them.
How many square feet is this park again, for the record?
If I recall correctly, it's about 7,700 square feet.
That's what I remember, more or less, somewhere in the 7,000 plus something. one of the issues that I heard was that no net loss. District 3 has been buying more land than any other district for parks. So through the buying of additional lands in numerous places that we have buying, that should have covered more than any net loss by a long way that we would have had there. Mr. Manager, do we have anyone in staff or yourself that would agree or disagree with the statement that I made? That with all the additional land that District 3, through the city, of course, and your approval, has been buying for parkland, that would have covered much more a net loss than we would have had there.
Commissioner, I was in the back with staff, so I didn't hear specifically what you said. But if you want to rephrase it quickly, I'll
Yes.
tell you, I mean, just from what you're telling me now, if it's an issue of whether or not we've added sufficient park space just in general, just in your district alone, in terms of land acquisition and park capacity, yeah, I'd say we've more than-
Ellen Moore is that small mini
yes.
park at issue. That's in my district now, basically. And we heard here that we had not done anything for the loss of that park and the net loss ordinance that we have. And what I'm submitting is that with all the additional lands that I have bought, that is by far a lot more than 7,000 plus square feet, we more than have made up for any potential net loss in that space. And I just wanted to.
I would concur. Your district, when the Parks Master Plan, I think, was, the consultant was on board and it was originally, it had begun, your district had probably the least park space. And to your credit, you've done a lot of work, obviously, through staff on parks acquisition and in terms of park expansion in your district. So we've added a lot of capacity there, more than enough to offset this
I
particular
just wanted to
park.
put that on the record,
Yeah.
and we still haven't stopped in acquiring more land. We'll be acquiring more in the next year or so.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Manager.
Madam Chair, on that point, I just want to clarify for the record, the settlement does not guarantee a rezoning. Certainly, my client would like for the property to be rezoned consistent with every other private parcel in the area. That's what's referenced in the settlement agreement. We cannot contract for zoning with the city, so there will be an application that the city will consider, the Planning, Zoning, and Appeals Board, this board, in its current or future configuration with regard to that request, and the issues regarding no net loss will be examined in conjunction with that submittal as well. So I just wanted to add that for the record, sir.
Thank you.
May I be heard on the
No.
no net loss
No,
issue?
no, your personal appearance was 5 minutes plus,
Okay,
and
that-
that's it.
It's just
Thank
not
you.
accurate
Thank you.
discussion.
At this time, I am going to open the meeting for public comments. Anyone who wishes to speak on any agenda, any item on the agenda today, please step up to the podiums. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Luis Herrera, President of Vizcaya Rongone Association. I'll be here today by the PC-15. There is already before. The point I want to make, in this particular plan, they don't protect the neighborhood at all. They make all kind of thing in there, and we asking protection in the neighborhood. And we send a letter to the commissioner, Carollo, few more association doing too. And I want everything in there, black and white, to the people in the neighborhood. They know what he's doing in the plan. So the question we asked a week ago, he never put it in but thinking over a little bit, they never do anything in favor of the neighborhood. So please, I ask them to put in black and white what is protecting the neighborhood. We need a protection because the construction, they're destroying the neighborhood. And that is not good for the neighborhood or residents of the neighborhood. Thank you very much. Intending, put it in mind that you people represent the neighborhood and we need the protection. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. Elvis?
Good morning. Thank you, Madam Chair, Commissioners. I want to speak briefly on 3 items. The first one, FR1, yes, it was indefinitely deferred, but if and when it comes back, I would hope you would oppose it. We do not need more billboards. There's simply visual pollution. Second one I wanted to speak to was PZ10. PZ10 is a de facto upzoning. It goes against everything that we were promised that Miami 21 would be, a form-based code. That proposal, PZ10, would allow 3 more floors to T5. So please, don't allow that to happen. And lastly, PZ15, as Mr. Luis Herrera just mentioned, this is regarding the comprehensive plan. I'm probably one of your very few constituents that's actually read the comprehensive plan. And I can assure you that comprehensive plan is worded very vaguely and very aspirational. It provides very little solid protection to neighborhoods from upzonings and other incursions. I would ask you and urge you to have the city include concise, actionable language to preserve and protect our neighborhoods. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Good afternoon, good morning, Commissioners and Madam Chairwoman. My name is Arnold Malgar. I am a longtime stakeholder and resident of Wynwood Norte. Thank you. And current member of the Wynwood Community Enhancement Association. I came to speak on the items PZ3 and PZ4 and formally request them to be either indefinitely deferred or denied completely until the situation surrounding the applicants and the lawyer representing them, William Riley, is completely settled. We as a community feel uncomfortable with the process moving forward. And as commissioners, you should feel uncomfortable as well. I want to formally state that I am not against development and improving my community while giving the residents and longtime stakeholders the opportunity to invest and stay long-term residents of the community. But I cannot, in good conscience, move forward until everything surrounding that investigation is resolved and a clear picture is presented for how these items will support the community vision plan that is part of the NRD2 and uphold the centerpiece of our neighborhood, Roberto Clemente Park. To be completely transparent, the fact that I'm up here requesting for these items to be deferred indefinitely or denied feels unjust. And I hope that our commissioners will put our community first and make the right decision. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is James Therian. I live at 121 Northeast 34th in Midtown. I'm here talking about item PZ15, which is the Amendment 1054-4. I'm here to present and put into public record a petition of over 200 signatures and comments opposing this rezoning, which would effectively rezone the grassy lot between Buena Vista Boulevard, 1st Avenue, 34th Street, and Highway 27, allowing for the development of a 20-floor high-rise instead of the promised 5-floor rule, additionally reducing the neighborhood green space and the dog park area. There's many reasons for us to be opposed to this amendment as it applies to this space. It's deeply unpopular within our community, but for the sake of time, I'll mention just 2. Number 1 is the lack of transparency for such a significant development. I've talked with dozens of owners over the past week since becoming aware of this, and only myself and a handful of others have received any notice of this or the previous meetings. Many of those who did received contradictory information, and everyone is quite upset to just be hearing about it now. For something that affects us so materially and will permanently affect the livability of our neighborhood, this is something that can't be rushed through. Your constituents deserve clarity on what's being proposed. They deserve time to come to an informed opinion on the matter, and they deserve to have their concerns heard by you. We all agree that any moves to build over this green space would be disastrous. Midtown and its neighborhood culture are quite literally built around this green space and the walkability that it provides. I don't have figures, but I'm pretty sure that the per capita number of dogs, for instance, in Midtown is the highest in Miami. It's the highest I've seen anywhere. There's literally thousands of dogs in Midtown, all of whose owners moved to Midtown, bought in Midtown specifically because of this green space. And every day they run to the park for walks and bathroom breaks, etc. To conclude, we don't oppose development, but unrestricted development is cancer. We love Midtown, it's our home, and it's a new jewel of Miami that we can all be proud of. This green space is something that benefits everyone. It's not something to casually destabilize, just, of course. Thank you for your time, I appreciate it. I'm going to submit these petitions into the public record.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Speaker, Commissioners. My name is Will Vasquez. I've been a resident of Wynwood since 1967, past over 5 decades. I'm here requesting the PC3 and PC4 be either denied or postponed. The recent developments, as you know, with St. Leonard's Academy and Bill O'Reilly, put things into question. And I just want to, on behalf of the community, not 1 inch of Roberto Clemente Park will be taken over. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Nathan Curran, 3132 Day Avenue. Good morning, Commissioners, ladies and gentlemen in the office. Before I came here today, I told my wife that she should embrace her mistakes. So she ran up to me and hugged me. Commissioners, I ask that you embrace your mistakes. FR1, which we have indefinitely deferred, contains provisions that will significantly change.
We didn't defer it. It's in play.
Pardon?
We are going to hear FR1 today.
You are not.
We are.
No, we are. I requested it. Yes.
Put back.
Yes.
Yes, it's been put back.
Oh, well, then that makes my public comment even more acute. FR1 contains provisions that will significantly change our unique subtropical community into a flashing and distracting mess everywhere that residents and tourists look. Over and over again, this commission has opened the barn door to an industry that has little regard for our natural beauty and quality of life. FR1 should be made to disappear, not just indefinitely deferred. And I'm sorry that I wasn't aware that it has been put back in. Embrace your mistakes, Commissioners. Keep the beauty of Miami. Absolutely get rid of FR1. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Daniel Acevedo, president of We Are Wynwood Foundation. I'm talking about PZ3 and PZ4. I'll ask for it to be denied, based not only on the current events and allegations and concerning parties of these applications, but on the conflict of interest, the lies and corruptions the community has and still is being deceived, misled, misinformed, and misrepresented. I'd like to play a video right quick also to speak on the matters of the conditions of Roberto Clemente Park, and that's what we should be focusing on, bettering our community. Not sure why it's not playing on the screen. Go ahead. No audio. Can they adjust the audio?
Una palabra, no dicen nada.
You don't mind raising it up, please?
Y al
Appreciate it.
mismo tiempo lo esconde todo, igual que el viento que esconde el agua, como las flores que esconden.
This wasn't a matter of a few minutes, 5 minutes more or less of rain, and this is what happened.
Una mirada, no dicen nada, y al mismo tiempo lo dice todo, Si un día me faltas, no seré nada. Y al mismo tiempo lo seré todo. Porque en tus ojos están mis alas. Y está la orilla donde me ahogo. Porque en tus ojos están mis alas. Y está la orilla.
This is hours after the rain already stopped. Still flooded. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Madam Renita Holmes, Wave of Women Toxic Tour. It's a new project in regards to urban development and its impact on families in certain districts, neighborhoods that seem to suffer from that. But specifically, I'd like to address the issue of PH2 and make you aware, commissioners, directly about the rising complaints regarding inspections that turn out to be quite poisonous and impactful on the lives of some of its residents of the city of Miami. And I'm looking at this item and I'm asking that one of you, or at least two of you, will hear us say this to you before we go anywhere else, because it's been a long time coming. The impact of improper inspections and improper procurements and the new level of quality of living for renters, maybe we need to check with the health department and see where the gaps are that people fall through. I'll literally leave you lit with this. In my last toxic tour, 4 out of 3 years, the last one ended not too well because of the water erosion of the building. The new rules and laws of Inspire that they have for inspectors, inspection processes, and building needs to be, because the issue and the impact that it has, particularly on veterans, African American persons who are more susceptible to sickle cell, is being documented. I consider that after attending the meeting on zoning and land use, I heard a board and a council thoroughly represent you on things we do not hear. I'm suggesting that you take a look. I know that we have the futuristic plan. We've already contacted our state representatives about that. I see a movement. Please, don't have people inspecting you. Your mother like my mama and mi abuela. Please don't have people inspecting my house and letting the uncovered dirt, moisture, mold coming out, because it's killing some of us. I say this, rest in peace, Michael. We need to uncover this and do it before the city has large litigation issues and we keep building places that just aren't healthy, just beautiful lives. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Chairwoman. Good morning, Vice Chair. Good morning, Commissioners. My name is James Torres, and I'm the President of the DNA. I'm here to speak again on FR1. On July 13th, we came here with over 2,000 petition signatures. This item keeps coming back and forth. It was going to be deferred, now it's not. I kindly ask you that we stop kicking the can. This is an issue that will not go away. I kindly ask the Commissioner Sabino Coble to please stand with District 2 and not move forward with this, even though you're going to discuss it today. Commissioner King, or Chairwoman King in this case, you also are impacted by the billboard signs that are being presented. So again, I kindly ask that the item be entered into the record, because I know the last time it was not. Again, over 2,000 signatures, and showing everything that the community does not want this to move forward. Please do the right thing and not kick the can and do away with this program. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioner. My name is Julie Williamson. I'm here to support a deferral of PZ 3 and 4. I'm a member of the Wynwood CEA, and I work and I pray in Wynwood community. And in regard to that, first, Commissioner King, thank you very much for your support of our community. We really appreciate it, as we appreciate the work of all the commissioners. I'd just like to say that there's an old adage that where there's smoke, there's fire. That's not always true, but when you have the ability to take the time to figure out what the fire is, if it exists, then it is the wise thing to do exactly that. A lot has been coming in the papers, it's being circulated. I don't think we really understand, any of us, exactly everything that is going on in regard to PZ 3 and 4. Before we act, you act precipitously. I beg you to please, for the sake of our community, find out all the facts. That's what is required to be fair to every participant and to our community at large. Just find out the facts and then discern, use your wisdom, and then act based on what really is the situation. So please, please defer PZ 3 and 4. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Chairwoman, Commissioners. I'm here today. My name is Miguel Soliman. I live at 1436 Southwest 6th Street. And I'm here today to ask for your help. Very, very upset over a situation that has happened right in my block, 2 blocks away from Domino Park. On Monday night, there was a shooting. 1 individual was killed. 3 others were shot, injured. Blood all over the street, all over the sidewalk. 1 bullet hit my car. Another bullet hit my wife's car, 4 feet away from our daughter's bedroom window. If my wife's car wouldn't have been there, that bullet would have gone right into her room. This is unacceptable. We know, Commissioner Carollo, you know the situation on 14th, between 14th Avenue and 15th Avenue on Southwest 6th Street. It's been like that for the past 50 years, and everyone's worked very hard to try to curb the situation with the drugs dealing there. We've always maintained a line. The residents that live there and the individuals selling the drug. They don't mess with us, we don't mess with them. The moment that our cars, our homes, start getting bullets, they cross the line. Commissioner, I need your help. I need the police chief's help. These people need a message. They do not mess with the residents of the city of Miami. This cannot happen. This is unacceptable and intolerable. So I ask, please, help us with this situation. Talk to the chief. This is beyond. This is beyond the line. Unacceptable. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Brenda Barranco. I live in 1436 Southwest 6th Street. I think I know all of you. I've been coming to this city for almost 20 years. I'm part of the community. I own a business. I graduated from high school right here in Miami High. My daughter goes to Miami High. And I think people get upset with you, commissioners, all of you, because we see the crime in our street. And we talk to all of you, the chief, and we still feel that the drug dealers have you guys in the pocket. And I'm going to be very forward in this. I've been in the block for 10 years. I live in Little Havana for 33 years. And it's a shame that we have get to the point that we get bullets in the middle of the city. AR-15, 9mm. And I wonder all the time, that we actually making any effort to actually get those dealers out of our street. And we see all beautiful cars parking and buying drugs. Lamborghinis, BMWs, Mercedes-Benz of the year, they all come to Little Havana to buy drugs. That we want to parade the Little Havana has become the point for Brickell to come over and buy drugs? No, but maybe that's what we need to do. Maybe we need to tell every single one of you that the resident for the rest of the city comes to us to sell. When are we going to stop? When are we going to stop? And I'm telling you, as a mother, I'm ashamed of me doing so much and trying to get things done in the city of Miami, in my neighborhood, and doesn't feel that you guys actually helping or care.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you.
When you're ready to close down, I'd like to talk.
At this time, seeing no other persons wanting to speak for public comment, the public comment period has now closed. And before my colleague begins to speak, I want to thank everyone that came from Wynwood to speak on the item and to assure you that we will continue to move forward and work toward having Roberto Clemente Park be a park that is worthy of the name Roberto Clemente Park. So thank you guys for coming and thank you guys for always showing up and supporting. Vice Chair?
Thank you, Chair. If the manager could come from the back where he's working on the budget, and if we have the Parks Director, Public Works Director, Police Chief back there, I respectfully request if the manager could bring them.
They're grabbing the manager.
Huh? Mr. Manager, I respectfully requested if the police chief, the public works director, and parks director can
They're all
come.
coming. We were all in the back.
I'll deal with one that's a little quicker, and that's Roberto Clemente Park. We were shown the park in somewhat of disarray state of flooding when it rained recently. And that seems to me that it should be a very easy fix on drainage.
Excuse me, yo, could you speak up a little bit?
Yes, I'm sorry, Commissioner. I was saying that the Roberto Clemente flooding seems to be a fairly easy fix.
Yes.
To put additional drainage in there. Can the Parks Director answer me, or the Public Works Director, as to what's been going on?
CIP.
Good morning, Commissioners. Juvenal Santana, Director of Public Works. There are currently 2 projects underway. I'll speak to the one that we're directly involved with, which is the Roberto Clemente Flood Prevention Project. That was one of the projects that the Commission approved the matching dollars at the last Commission meeting. We've received a grant for the remaining half of the project, so that'll be a split funding. And we are currently working on getting a consultant on board to commence a design for that. We have the entire boundary, the project's fully funded, so we can move forward with that entire neighborhood project. And there's a parks project that's also going to be doing a significant improvements on the park.
How many years, and I'm not being facetious, but everything here takes years. How many years is it going to take now for your department or whomever else is going to be hired to put drainage in there so that we don't see scenes like that anymore?
We would expect that the neighborhood improvement project we'd have complete in the next 3 years.
How long?
3.
3 years. The park in particular, how long will it take?
I'll let OCI answer.
Good morning, Hector Vidia, Office of Capital Improvement. We're starting the design on that project, Roberto Clemente, and we're looking at probably next year, summer next year, to start construction.
Sometime next year. Okay. All right.
Commissioner, I
And-
meet with them regularly. I pledged money myself.
I know
and-
you have.
And I work with the community, and we meet every month for an update because you're correct. It seems as if it takes so long for progress to be seen. The flooding this community has experienced this flooding for many, many years. They're going to put new pump stations, correct?
As part of the roadway construction, yes.
May I? Okay. Thank you. Now, Chief, can you come up, please? Chief, the very morning when we had this shooting on 14th Avenue and 6th Street in Little Havana, Southwest, you and I and the manager met in my office, correct?
Yes, sir.
For the last months and months, have and I have been requesting and providing assistance from neighbors of information we've gotten on drugs being sold in different areas. And your people have been making constant arrests for drugs and guns in that area. Is that correct or not?
Absolutely, sir. You have been incredibly active in reporting complaints that you've received from not only the neighbors, but you observe personally as you drive through Little Havana. I can report you that this year we've set a record number of search warrants for narcotics in locations, 133 year to date, which is probably about 25% more than what we did last year. I'm waiting for the exact numbers, and I can pull up, it'll take me a little bit, but I can pull up the numbers of narcotics arrests just in Little Havana, where we have been more active than just about any other area short of Model City and Little Haiti that face similar problems.
This particular shooting that took place was gang-related, correct?
It was gang-related, and it was actually targeted. The individuals that were standing in front of the location were the intended targets of that shooting. And we're working some leads, nothing that I'm ready to divulge right now because it's an open investigation,
Right.
but we're working on some leads.
Okay. Chief, I know that in all of our urban areas in the city of Miami, just like in every major American city, but we live in Miami, so that's what I'm most interested in. In all major urban areas in our country, unfortunately, we're in a drug war, whether we want to admit it or not. We're being inundated with drugs across the border like never before. And this is part of the reason that we see the uptick in all of our major American cities in the so-called homeless. They're people that have gotten burned out with a lot of these new drugs. Don't take that much usage to end up that way. It's, while certainly this incident is, especially if you live there, if your vehicles got shot at, you have every right to be upset and to be concerned. And I would feel the same way and probably more if I would have been close to that and my car was shot. But this community needs to get more outrage. And when I say this community, not just the city of Miami, but South Florida as a whole, how many, and the bulk of the drug problems that we've been having is urban city, which means it's African-American areas. And then the next areas are Hispanic areas that are poor. And how many kids you know, 2, 3, 5-year-olds, teenagers have not only been shot throughout the past decade, but have actually gotten killed because of the drugs in our community. And, you know, this community just doesn't get outraged enough to do something about it. Now, Mr. Manager, I would like to have this city, through the police department, establish a fund, and we actually do a mail-out throughout all of our urban areas, not just this area where this happened in Little Havana. Putting out a sizable reward for information that leads to the arrest and conviction of individuals selling drugs in our city. The only way that we could be successful is by having the participation of our residents. Unlike what the gentleman here said before, that they lived, that they didn't mess with the drug pushers didn't mess with them. Well, I'm sorry. Residents have to mess with the drug pushers. They have to provide information to the police, because that's the only way that we're going to be able to make the biggest impact on the war that we're fighting on drugs in our city. So I'd like to see, Chief, if we could come up with a plan that we send mail-outs to every home. We are actively out there in all the different inner city communities, letting people know that we need their help, and here's a reward fund that if you provide information that would lead to the arrest and convictions of drug pushers, you're going to get a reward. Outside of that, whatever else you could do to put additional manpower into chasing the drug pushers out of our city will be quite appreciative.
And Commissioner, listen, my heart absolutely goes out to the residents over here today. I'm a Little Havana resident myself, so I feel their pain and I hear their cries loud and clear.
Yeah,
I can assure you.
I heard that. You moved into my district. You're a constituent now.
So
I got to treat you nicer.
So I take absolute pride, not only in the city that I'm sworn to protect, but the area where I live and my family visits quite often. So I can just report you that the incident that we had this weekend, incredibly unfortunate, it is an increasing rarity in the city of Miami. When we're looking at a city of, I mean, the census numbers vary, but we should be above 500,000. And we're standing at 20 homicides compared to 34 last year. Any major city in the United States, even though the loss of one life is tragic, and we always aim for zero, right? We're experiencing historic lows. Not only are our homicides down 40%, our overall shootings are down about 46%, right? So we take pride in that. We definitely have issues in areas of the city. We're focusing on those. We did put up some video cameras as a result of the shooting in that area that are going to give us a very vantage point, and we're going to be able to enforce it more aggressively. But I can tell you, out of the almost 1,500 or 1,600 drug arrests, about close to 250 have been in Little Havana of the serious narcotics arrests. So we're targeting the area. We'll continue. Our efforts will continue to move forward until we're able to provide safety for every neighborhood in our city.
Those couple of blocks there in particular, they've been a hot spot since I arrived here in November 17. I remember that within weeks after I had been elected, neighbors calling me, giving me information about a house right at the corner there of 6th Street. I believe it was 16th, just 2 blocks down. I provided that to our narcotics unit, and sure enough, we made a major drug arrest there that included a lot of drugs and guns and money. And soon after, it appears that whoever rented again was doing the same thing. So we kept providing that information. Right in the corner where this shooting took place, that's where you had a little cafeteria or so-called cafeteria in the past. I think it's finally closed down. And we shut it down at different times. They had illegal gambling machines. They had drugs. They had all kinds of things going on. In fact, there was a secret door between that so-called cafeteria and the grocery store next to it in 6th Street. It's a constant problem in that area, and we just have to put more resources as much as we can in doing it. But we need help from the residents. You can't have status quo that you can't mess with these characters. Do you have any reports on how many vehicles were shot in this incident that happened?
I don't have it with me, but I can get it from my investigator folks.
Yeah, if you could bring it back if we're still around in the afternoon sometime.
I know there was a total of 14 rounds that were fired. I can
Do you
find
know
out.
if the weapons, well, you haven't found any weapons there, from what I gather?
We have not recovered any firearms related to this case yet.
Okay. All right, Chief. Thank you very much.
We'll keep you posted, sir.
I have a
Manager, thank
question,
you.
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Koval.
So since we're going through the whole budgeting situation right now, I wanted to ask you, Mr. Manager and Chief, what are we doing specifically to hire more police officers? Because, for example, and I've been calling you, Chief, daily on this. For District 2, it's been really tough, and a lot of the petitions that we have is for more police patrols, and also that our starting salary is not competitive to other cities within our county. So is there anything specific that we're doing to address that?
So if I could, we stand at 1388 as our manpower. I'd like us to get eventually closer to around 1,500 to
1,500
service.
would be a number, the ideal
Correct.
number?
For the time being, looking at, we're a small geographical city, but we're incredibly vertical. So that brings challenges onto itself to policing. Right now, the justification to have more officers added to our table of organization is not there because we're carrying 86 vacancies. It's a nationwide crisis, not only for recruitment, but retention as well. We've lost 51 or 52 officers this year, and we've only been able to hire 32. So we're working extremely hard with our folks at recruitment, not only to make sure that the advertisement is out there, but we're kind of targeting folks and officers that are already certified and perhaps that are working with other departments, right? So when we hire an officer, just the difficulty is they're no good to us for about 12 to 13 months while they're going through training. They're going through the academy, then they go through the field training process, and then enhanced training at the end, crisis intervention, and some of the other focus areas that we have in report writing. So it kind of takes that while. If we get someone who's already certified, it only goes through the field training program and the intent, so I can have them on the street maybe in 5 months. So we are targeting those folks. We're working very closely with the administration. One of the things that we've done is augment, and one of the things that you'll see in the budget for this year is we went from $4.1 million in overtime to around 8.6. So what that allows is the officers that are out there to be able to provide additional manpower and coverage and presence in the areas where we need them, whether it be 14 and Southwest 6, whether it be downtown on the bus in the downtown core area, or whether it be in Model City in our North District. It allows us the flexibility, and every commander has access to those funds to put officers where they're needed. And this has been, honestly, the reason why we've seen the incredible reduction that we have in violent crimes throughout the city. When we're running around right now looking at a 14 to 13% reduction in robberies. We just talked about the 40% reduction in murders and about a 46% reduction in overall shootings, whether it be contact or non-contact shootings. But we're definitely aware, and Chief Aguilar recently transferred to administration just with the focus of how do we streamline that process? How do we get the folks from the time that they apply in CDHR to get them to the police department in a more expedited way to be able to hire them more quickly? That's some of the delay that we've been experiencing. For the time we get them from the city to the time that we're able to offer them a job, and they go through the extensive background, the physical agility, the background check, the medical, the polygraph, the psychological. Those things kind of take time and scheduling, but we're streamlining that process, not reducing our standards, because that brings on to itself a lot of problems that we don't want to repeat from history. But it allows us the ability to kind of hire and bring more folks into it. So
And the salaries, Mr. Manager?
We are actively engaged in negotiations with the labor union, so that's been an issue that has been brought up during multiple sessions relative to pay and competitive pay, so we're trying to work towards that. It's not an easy fix in 1 year, right? So that's kind of what we're working on, is sort of a multi-year strategy. We have limitations to the budget, like everybody else does. But Miami in particular has its own challenges. So we made a concerted effort to reduce the millage this year, which was an effort made by obviously the mayor and the commission to provide some relief to the residents. But that created some limitations to our ability to pay. I think we're negotiating with 4 labor unions, and I think we're trying to create some balance to that. But our commitment is to try to get our, employees across the board, not just in reference to police, in as competitive a position as we can, because, challenges he's having from a recruitment perspective are due to a multitude of factors, pay being one of them. But that situation exists across the board through all of our employees in every department, right? Our ability to be competitive as a city in terms of recruitment and retention. So we're trying to address some of those as well, but the problem is you can't take a bite at the apple all at once. Fortunately, we gotta try to resolve it in sort of a multi-year strategy. Otherwise, we'll handcuff ourselves from a financial perspective. But we are working on it, and we're sensitive to it.
I agree, but it should be a priority, because then if we don't allocate the right budgeting to each of the departments, then we start getting the constituent petitions, and our constituents just don't understand what's going on. But we need to be competitive, because the city of Miami should be competitive to Coral Gables. We should be so competitive to North Miami. I just hate when I get, for example, a comment from a constituent that tells me, and I'm going to go back now to Parks and Recreation, which has been one of the big issues that we're having, that why does Miami Beach and Coral Gables have wonderful parks and we don't? And then why do I need to drive to take my children to other cities because we don't have our parks well maintained? And then you speak to one of the park employees, and I go actually online and I check the salary. And I'm like, these people are doing this amazing job because they're trying. But of course, they're getting paid probably $15 an hour. Or if not, they don't get hired to be full-time employees, so they don't get benefits. So for me, our employees in general in every department is a huge concern, and I just want to put that on the record.
Thank you. I think what my colleagues, let me say this. I think what my colleagues are saying is that we are concerned about the crime in our districts. There is no one up here that is not concerned about the crime, because crime doesn't just affect you. We live in the district as well. Yeah. No one here, anywhere, condones violence, gun violence. I was at an event yesterday that highlighted gun violence and what it does to the families. We care about our community and the crime that is occurring in our community, and we need everyone's help to combat crime, not just the police. Our police has an amazing community policing procedure. They introduce themselves to the residents and the neighbors in District 5. Our district sees our community police officers before individuals are arrested in my district. It is unfair to say that we don't care about crime in our community, because crime affects everyone. Crime affects every family in the city of Miami. And we are collectively, the police department, the administration, and policymakers to ensure that we have the safest city in the United States. Period.
Madam
You
Chair,
wanted to say.
if I may?
Commissioner Reyes.
Oh, yes. Madam Chair, I agree with you 100%. Crime, it affects all of us, and we are city. One neighborhood is affected, it affects all of us because we are in this together. And what I have a question for the chief, because we had a lot of vacancies that have been very difficult to fill. Besides the constraint of different in salary, but I believe there are certain other issues that we are not getting the right type of applicants, and I don't know if it is because there is, and this is not a problem of the city of Miami, it's a national problem that many people, they don't want to be police officers anymore because they have been definitely, and I'm going to call it a spade, they have been abused. They are bad cops and they're very good cops, but they have been generalized and they have been abused. And the young people that I know, I recommend to say, listen, do a career in the police office department. And then why? It's that, but I'm going to go to and become a police. See, nationally they want to defund the police. The police cannot do anything. They get beaten up. They get spit at. They claim to have, they want to have them in a blanket. All of those things that have taken away the I would say the dedication and the interest of many young people that otherwise would have been a police officer. And I want to ask you, Chief, you have seen that in your recruiting during your recruiting during these years?
So, Commissioner, that's a great question, and as we touched before, it's kind of a national crisis when we're looking at that. And since not only COVID, but the civil unrest of 2020, we have seen a decreased interest in folks applying to become police officers, compounded by the fact that we only hire about 2% of the folks that apply, right? Our standards have to be maintained high. Like, as I said before, we don't want to kind of repeat the mistakes of the past and bring unqualified individuals into the force because we'll pay that. Those are the folks that will be involved in litigious actions that'll cost the city money. Those are the folks that will not treat our public in the right manner. That is something that's unacceptable. So just to give you a little bit of an idea, there's cities, major cities, that are struggling and are still offering like a $75,000 signing bonus for anyone who is hired by their department, and that's had a negligible impact on the overall number of individuals that they've been able to hire. So, I mean, as we're looking across and when you're seeing that young folks really are opting for jobs that offer a remote opportunity to work from home and be able to do other things, yeah, we've seen diminished interest in our profession overall. But that hasn't deterred us from trying new strategies to try to bring folks into the fold. And there's still a lot of good folks out there. You just got to kind of be able to connect, but there's a very competitive market at the time.
Okay, is there anything we can do to try to entice people that feel like being a police officer, it is not to the best interest, to entice them into applying and become a police officer? And what comes to my mind is giving them full support as long as they respect the rights of the individual that they are serving. You see?
Absolutely. And Commissioner, I think we're going to begin in the next few years, we're going to be seeing the fruits of our labor kind of ripen. As the chairwoman stated, we do have an incredibly active community policing arm, and we pay attention, we're engaged in contacting and being involved in positive ways with our youth through our PAL program, the Police Explorers, and even taking advantage of the Law Enforcement Memorial High School that we have next to our training academy. As we begin to see these folks becoming of age, that's going to give us a little bit of a different pool of applicants that are going to be not only qualified, but have already the city of Miami in their heart, in their blood. So we should be seeing some improvement soon, but not soon enough, I'm afraid. So we're augmenting it with overtime for the time being.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And Commissioner, 3 vehicles were struck in the scene of the shooting at 14 and 6.
Let me go over something that Commissioner Cobo asked you, and I don't know if she understood it well. It was explained in a layman's term for her, for others that were listening. In a city the size of Miami, with the visitors and tourists that we get and so on, Miami should have, the ideal number that Miami should have is at least 3 officers per each 1,000 residents that we have. In smaller cities with less tourists that come and visitors, that could, be somewhere around 2.5, even 2 in some cases in real smaller cities. But a city of Miami size should be at least 3 per 1,000 residents. We have a population that's approximately 450,000 in the city of Miami. Therefore, the 3 officers per 1,000 and 450,000, we should have at least 1,350 officers. We have budgeted 1,383, which means if we would have them all on board, it would give us 3.083. So as far as manpower in the police department, we should be in good shape. Now, the question that I want to ask the chief, that I haven't gotten the answer today, is how many openings do we have?
86 vacancies right now.
86. Okay? So that's your answer. 86 is significant. There's no way that you're going to hire 86 officers in 1 year. It's not going to happen unless you're just bringing in anybody. And that's the last thing we want to do. We don't want to repeat history. So as long as within the next couple of years, we could hire these officers, we'll be more or less still there in the right amount of officers that we need. But then after the next couple of years, by the 2025 budget, is when we need to start planning and bringing in more officers on. Agree, Chief, or not?
I agree. I just got text by Chief Aguilar. He's assuring me that we will hire 86 this year.
Well,
put that on the record right now.
Yeah, I hope they're all as good as he is.
And taking you back, I think, remember when we instituted the drop in 2010, the 7-year limit came in at 2017 when we saw about 356 officers leave the department, more or less. We were able to hire that year 114, but that was before COVID, before the disturbances of 2020 that kind of deterred a lot of the folks in the recruitment pool. So we'll absolutely do our best because we know we need them out there.
Okay, I'll have some more questions, but I'll leave it for the budget side, not for now.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Chief.
Be here.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, ma'am.
At this time, I would like to have a motion to approve the city commission meeting minutes for June 22nd.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Do I have a motion for CA 1, 2, and 3?
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. I also would like, Mr. Manager, to indefinitely defer PZ 3 and 4. May I have a motion?
PC 3 and 4?
Move it.
PC 3 and 4.
Move.
I got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion
Aye.
carries unanimously. May I have a motion for PH 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Move.
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I believe, just to clarify, page 6 needs 4 votes.
It was unanimous. Both 6 and 7 required a 4/5,
And
which
8.
was unanimous.
Thank you.
Okay. May I have a motion for RE 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 10?
Move.
Madam Chair, if I may,
Yes?
I would like to get RE6 out of it because I have my problems with it, and some people in my community, they have problem with it that we should be canceling, we should be including, instead of reading, instead of Columbus.
I'm
We're gonna
sorry. I'm sorry, I'm glad you caught
Hey,
that.
I almost got it.
Boy.
I almost got it.
You almost got it. You
Almost
better sleep.
got
She
it.
pulled a quick one on me.
I meant to.
Yeah, she
I
pulled a
asked
quick one on
everybody
me.
if they had something to defer. Is it the will of this body to defer RE6 for further comment?
Commissioner, can I suggest the following?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know how I'm going to be on this, whether it's today, tomorrow, or in the future. I think
Me
I
too.
know how Commissioner Reyes is going to be. If you want to honor a group of people, you don't have to take someone down that's been honored so that you could honor another group. So politely and respectfully, I would suggest that, you maybe find another day that you would like so that we could all then be in agreement to honor the people that you would like for us to honor.
Okay, let me just say for the record that Miami-Dade County passed a resolution to designate second Monday of October 20 as their region's Tribe Day. There have been approximately 198 cities that has done this, approximately 52 schools, and approximately 16 counties. And I understand that I do not have the votes at this time, and I would be willing to defer it.
No, I think we should, Madam Chair, with all due respect, I think that we should find some sort of solutions for this, because I just as Commissioner Carollo, I know where I'm going to be, I would say 10 years from now, if I'm here.
Right.
You see, I'm going to be, I don't think that, my problem is I don't believe in cancel culture. I don't believe in cancel culture, not even from the people that are the extreme right or the utopian socialist on the extreme left. Cancel culture is a tool that is used by totalitarian regimes. This, what I am, I agree with Commissioner Carollo that we could include, find another day, or instead of reading your proposal, the resolution reading instead of, and will do. You see, because as I said before, and I stated it in my agenda track, you see, probably, maybe you know more than you, but I have more Puerto Rican Indian and Cuban Indian in my blood than many of the people in that extreme left that are proposing this resolution. You see, and if we are going to start canceling, because what happened after the discovery, then we have to start canceling some Indian tribes that they joined Cortés and they joined Pizarro, and how about the people that came from Europe and they pushed all the American Indians to the west, and everybody that fought against the American Indians and they massacre them, including the Buffalo Soldiers. You see, we shouldn't start doing that. We shouldn't start dividing. What we should start doing is bringing people together. We don't need controversy. You see, we have we live in, and I'm very proud of living in Miami, that we all get along fine.
Yes, I heard you. I hear you. I would be open to and.
I, out of very deep respect to my chairwoman, I will not add anything more than Commissioner Reyes has stated.
Thank you.
Because we might be here for a long time otherwise.
That's right. I mean, I'm not saying that we should, Mr. Carollo, let's make it clear. I said that if we start in the business of canceling, you see, every time that we don't like somebody or a group doesn't like something else or somebody,
well,
they're going to use it. You see, I don't want to cancel anybody.
Okay.
They've been canceling me for quite a while here now.
Madam Chair.
That's right, me too.
Every time that I read one of the Miami Herald
support you in
editorials,
defending
they've canceled my culture, my past, my history.
Commissioner Koval would like to join.
I understand the sentiment of both, of the three of you guys. I think that we should defer it.
I don't believe so. I think that
Well,
if this is going to keep on popping and popping and popping, let's vote on it.
I am
and that's it.
amenable to and. I'm amenable to changing instead of to and, like Commissioner Reyes proposed. Would you be amenable to that?
Yes, ma'am, I will.
And?
Okay, when
Vice
you say
Chair?
when you say to
So it would be and, both.
Columbus and Indigenous Day.
Yeah, that I think would be appropriate.
So-
I have
That would be
no problem with that.
Okay.
But why do you mess with Columbus? Why not Washington?
I'm not messing
Why not
with-
Jefferson?
I'm not
Why,
messing- I am not-
why Columbus?
I am not messing with Columbus. So we have it at and. So RE6 as amended.
Madam Chair, just for a second, because we have RE8. I don't know if
didn't
you
call
called.
RE8.
Okay, and then RE6 will be,
And. We're going to take out,
so it would read, a resolution of the Miami City Commission recognizing the second Monday of October every year as Indigenous Peoples' Day and Columbus Day.
No, as
Columbus Day and.
I'm reading the reso, so that's why.
Well, I mean, I want to do it Columbus Day and Indigenous Day.
Okay,
Because they
so
don't go hand in
we will
hand.
edit it.
okay, so as amended, I have a motion and a second for the REs except RE8. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
And RE1 is also as amended, that we're not asking for money back, we're just evicting. RE1 as amended.
Okay,
Madam Chair, if I may say something,
please.
I commend you. I know that you felt very strong about this, and I do too. You see, and I do too. But because I know that everything that happened, and not only in Columbus. We're talking when Columbus came here, it was 1492. You see, indigenous weren't being massacred even into the 20th century in the west of the U.S. and in some areas in the Americas, and I'm grateful that you, instead of creating controversy, we are creating unity.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Madam City Attorney, would you please read the titles into the record for the second reading ordinances, please?
Second reading, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending Chapter 6, Article 1, Section 2 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, titled Animals in General, Animals Not to Run at Large, Exceptions, to amend the section to be compatible with other sections of the city code containing a severability clause and providing for an immediate effective date. SR 2, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending Chapter 10, Article 1 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, titled Buildings in General, Building Permit Fee Schedule, providing for an adjustment of temporary occupancy extensions for residential developments impacted by the novel coronavirus pandemic, containing a severability clause and providing for an effective date. And SR 3, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending Chapter 10, Article 6, Section 101 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, titled Building Unsafe Structures, Unsafe Structures, and Unsafe Structures Panel, to provide for requirements for the appointment of panel members to the Unsafe Structure Panel through City of Miami procurement, containing a severability clause and providing for an effective date.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Move it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Let me tell you how strongly Cubans feel about that motion and what Commissioner Ray has said. And I think he will remember the story because it's a story that's been given from one generation of Cubans to another. And this was one of the most famous Cuban Indian chiefs at the time. And Columbus was not around then, so you can't get the blame for this one. But they were going to hang him. But before they were going to do that, for some alleged crimes that supposedly he had committed, the priest that was there wanted to convert him to Christianity. So he went to the chief and tried to do it, and the Heke, the chief, asked him, well, if you convert me, where, this heaven that you're talking about, where do you Europeans go? Are you going to go to heaven too when you die? He says, that's where we're going to go. He says, well then, I don't want to be converted because I don't want to go there after I die.
Commissioner, that was Atuey. Chief Atuey.
Yeah, Atuey. Yeah.
That's right.
Madam Chair, for PH, I believe it's PH 8, there was supposed to be a modification to the exhibits. I don't think that was mentioned in the vote, so does anyone know about the modification to the exhibits for PH 8? The Renaissance item?
PH.
It wasn't mentioned on the as amended item, so I just want to make sure that we put that on the record.
Okay.
Okay.
As amended.
As amended.
As amended.
As
Chair.
amended.
Chair,
Yes.
if we're amending it, we need to reconsider it, and then we'll vote as amended.
Do I have a
Okay.
motion to reconsider?
Move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
As amended. Aye.
It's a motion.
That was to
amended.
reconsider, now a new
Yeah.
motion to adopt as
Motion
amended.
as amended.
Move it.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Cleaned it up.
Thank you.
As amended.
May I have a motion to pass RE 8? We had to do SR 3 before we could do RE 8. So may I have a motion for RE 8?
I move it.
RE8?
RE 8, uh-huh.
Okay. Move it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion
Aye.
carries. May I have a motion for our pocket items, PI 1 and PI 2?
Move it.
Second, all in favor?
And Chair, just for the record, for PI2, Commissioner Corroyo will be appointing Pat Santangelo to his seat on the Bayfront Park Management Trust.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Madam City Attorney, would you please read into the record the titles of our first reading ordinances that are in play?
Okay, for even FR1, or did you want to have a discussion on the mural one?
I want to vote, I'm ready.
So read it into the record.
FR1, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending Chapter 62, Article 13, Division 5 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, titled Planning and Zoning Approval for Temporary Uses and Occupancies Permit required murals, to amend the city code to allow for digital technology signs containing a severability clause and providing for an immediate effective date. FR2,
Madam Chair, can I have a comment on FR1? Okay, you should remember that since day one, I've been asking for a study on light pollution, on how they were going to be affected, and if they were in communication, in contact with the neighbors. I haven't received anything from it. Therefore, I'm going to vote against it. Hello?
What, Commissioner, what did you say? You're gonna vote yes. That's what you said? I
No,
couldn't hear
I'm
you at
going to
the end.
vote against.
See, I couldn't hear
No,
you.
no, N-O, no.
N-O, no.
I'm a no as well. I said it since the beginning. I said it publicly. The amount of requests that I've gotten in my office for this not to happen, when I balance it, I understand that economic development is important, but we need to find a better way of explaining perception, timing, so I'm gonna be a no.
Well,
Okay, so call the roll.
some of that rolls into my district. I do see it as eye pollution. I don't think it is good for our community at all, and I am a hell no. So if we
I
wanna
love
take
it.
a vote for FR1, do I have a motion?
I
Move
move
it.
it.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor to deny FR1?
Aye, to
Aye.
deny.
Deny.
Deny, yes.
Madam City Attorney, would you please continue to read the titles into the records for our first
Okay,
reading
thank you, ma'am.
ordinances?
A monkey just came off my shoulders.
FR2.
One less monkey on my shoulders.
FR2, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission with attachments amending Chapter 4, Article 4-6 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, titled Alcoholic Beverages Entertainment Districts, more particularly by amending the Overtown Entertainment District in order to modify the district's boundaries as depicted in Exhibit O, attached and incorporated, containing a severability clause and providing for an effective date. FR3, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission naming parcels of land consisting of approximately 37,500 square feet located at 3701 Southwest First Avenue, 3699 Southwest First Avenue, and 3691, 3693, and 3695 Southwest First Avenue, Miami, Florida. Folio 0141390070390070380 and 0141390070370 respectively, and other contiguous parcels that may be added in the future as Woodside Park, amending Chapter 38, Article 1 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, titled Parks and Recreation in general, by creating Section 38-36, titled Naming of Woodside Park, further directing the city manager to take any and all actions necessary to effectuate the naming of the park containing a severability clause and providing for an immediate effective date. FR4, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending Chapter 12.5, Article 1, Division 3, Sections 12.5-41, 12.5-42, 12.5-44, and 12.5-45 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, titled Community Revitalization Districts, Community Revitalization Trust, jurisdictional authority, purpose, powers, and duties, governing body composition and appointments, terms of office and vacancies, member qualifications, procedures for appointment of members, oath, quorum, voting, meetings, attendance requirements, indemnification, president, chief executive officer, appointment, term, qualifications, compensation, general powers, and responsibilities to amend the requirements to allow for the appointment of first responders to the trust containing a severability clause and providing for an immediate effective date. I believe that this is going to be amended, FR4. Anyone? FR4, is there an amendment,
Yes.
another amendment?
FR4. FR4.
Okay, is it,
No,
got
I'm
it.
trying to get the attention of. There are amendments for FR4. There are amendments for FR4.
Is there any other amendment?
For FR4, the amendment is removing for the jurisdictional authority. We're not amending the boundaries of the trust at this time. I believe we wanted to get more information from planning and zoning. I spoke to the planning assistant director last week, and we have more information that we need to gather before we amend the jurisdictional authority.
Thank you.
So as amended.
That's amended.
Thank
So,
you, Madam Chair.
Do I have a motion for FR2,
Move it.
3, and 4? Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And at this time, if we may recess this meeting so that we can have the Overtown CRA, the Virginia Key Beach Park Trust, and the Omni CRA meetings commence. And then
Madam Chair,
go to lunch.
Madam Chair, if I may,
Yes.
you see, my intention was to Commissioner Coble as chairperson of the Omni CRA. I think that she deserves it, and we need to have a chairman in that. Although Commissioner Carollo is the vice chairman, and he is very good.
I think it's fair to me since right now I don't have a redevelopment agency to help my community.
Well, I thought it would be proper to nominate her as chairman of Omni CRA.
Commissioners, so DI1, we're on DI1, which is the annual review of the terms of elected officials and members of various trusts, authorities, boards, committees, and agencies. Essentially, this item was originally scheduled on the January 12th City Commission agenda. At that meeting, it was then deferred to March 23rd, and from March 23rd, it was indefinitely deferred, which is why it's on the September 28th agenda. Essentially, this review is done on an annual basis pursuant to Section 2-35 of the Code, but it would not be inappropriate for a motion to be made at this time to appoint Commissioner Covo as chair of the Omni CRA.
Well, I have a motion to appoint Commissioner Cole as chairman of the Omni CRA.
The motion, let me be very clear, I don't have the time to spend on the Omni CRA, so it's good that we...
Hands full.
It's good that we have a member of this body that will bring new energy with the time to provide to it. What I would suggest that we do, so that it's not fair to her to throw her as chairman right when we're going through the agenda, just to make it effective at the end of the day at 5 p.m.
At the end of the day, yes.
And effective 5 p.m.
Yes.
today. And
Yes, I agree with you, Commissioner. I agree with you. That would be appointment of Commissioner Coble as chairman of the Omni CRA, effective this date at 5 o'clock in the p.m.
City clerk is trying to say.
To be very clear, what I was saying was that it would not be fair to ask her to chair a meeting
Yes.
that's got a lot of stuff in there that
That's right.
she hasn't had, as the new chairman, the opportunity to go through, et cetera. And then, we're at that time of the year. That then will be used by individuals that don't have the best interest of the city at heart. So that's why I suggest that it will be effective at 5 p.m. I'm sure she's going to do an excellent job with it.
The city clerk has his hand up.
Yes.
And my apologies for the interruption, but the start date for the term always begins the day after the commission meeting. So
Okay,
it's
well,
not
that's
necessary.
fine.
Yes, sir.
So that's fine. So I have a motion and a second. All in
Motion
favor?
second. Aye.
Aye. Okay, that motion carries. Now, I'm going to recess the meeting so that we can have the Southeast Park West Overtown CRA meeting. I said it wrong again, but you guys know I'm dyslexic and those alphabets mix me up. The Overtown CRA right now.
And Chair, we just need just a
A
moment.
moment to change and then we will go into the Virginia Key Beach Trust meeting and then the Omni CRA meeting. Thank you.
Okay.
And we will resume our meeting at 4 p.m.
Whatever time you
Pick
like.
up the
yeah.
PCs and then
Yeah.
go into the budget hearing, right? Okay, the meeting will resume, the regular commission meeting will resume at 4 p.m.
Madam Chair, at what time are we be dealing with the budget?
At 5:05.
5:05.
So we'll resume
as
our
I-
regular, we'll take up the PZ items at 4, then go
Okay.
into our budget meeting.
Okay, no,
Okay.
because from what I heard, I have to be physically present, and I will travel to back and forth. I will travel for the budget hearing and
Okay.
voting,
Okay.
and then I will come back.
Okay, so 4 o'clock for PZ.
Okay, my dear.
Okay, but don't go anywhere, we have our,
No, I'm waiting for Todd to change the
Okay.
tape.
I'm gonna read the shit into the rest.
oh, okay. Are you ready with the tape? You ready? Are we ready? Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Southeast Overtown Park West CRA meeting for September 28th, 2023.
Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair.
Good morning,
Good
Madam
morning,
Chair.
Mr. Executive Director and Mr. General Counsel. Good morning, Madam City Attorney. What have you for us today?
We have 6 items that Attorney Brown will read into the record.
Thank you.
Item 1 is a resolution with attachment, Exhibit A, retaining Rice Sorota to serve as disclosure counsel to assist with the municipal bond issuance. The title will be amended to include the word attachment. Item 2 is a resolution with attachment, Exhibits A and B, approving and adopting the proposed operating and tax equipment fund budget for the CRA attached and incorporated with Exhibit A in the amount of $106,689,040 for fiscal year commencing October 1, 2023, and ending September 30th, 2024. Further authorizing the allocation of funds in the amount of $1,276,190, attached and incorporated as Exhibit B. Further approving the compensation of the Executive Director for fiscal year 2023-2024. This item will be amended to correct the Scrivener's error as to the amount of deallocation. Instead of $1,279,190, it will read $1,276,190. Item 3 is a resolution with attachment authorizing the Executive Director to execute a lease agreement attached and incorporated here in Exhibit A with 3H Communications for 1,016 square feet of commercial space at 1490 Northwest 3rd Avenue, Unit 111, for a 3-year period with a total base rent of $18,288 annually with a 4% adjustment after the first year of the lease. Item number 4 is a resolution authorizing the Executive Director to retain Siebert Williams to serve as underwriters for the impending bond issuance. Item number 6 will be amended. Item number 5 will be amended is a resolution with attachment authorizing the Executive Director to a purchase and sale agreement which is attached to Exhibit A incorporated herein between the CRA and Gloria B. Lewis for the acquisition of real properties located at 350 Northwest 8th Street, 360 Northwest 8th Street, and 374 Northwest 8th Street for a total adjusted square footage of 22,518 square feet for an amount not to exceed $3,500,000, which is attached as Exhibit B, which is the appraisal. The item will be further amended to allow for the proration of taxes, the forgiveness of a previous grant in the amount of $1,425,000, and the cancellation of a previous given mortgage and note in the amount of $88,000. Item number 6 is a resolution by 4/5 vote authorizing the executive director to disperse funds at his discretion or on a reimbursement basis to vendors subject to availability of funds in the amount of $175,000 to Norwood Consultants to assist with cultural programming in the redevelopment area. Those are your 6 items. We will provide the amendments to the clerk's office once the items are approved.
I move them.
Second.
Chair, public comment?
No, that's for the next meeting. That's not this meeting, next meeting.
Madam Chair, we have to open the floor for public comment.
Yes,
Commissioner, don't get them confused, please.
Wait, let me open, is there anyone here that would like to speak on behalf of any of the items for this agenda, for the Southeast Overtown Park West CRA agenda? Anyone here would like to speak on these items? Seeing none, public comment is closed. I have a motion and a second, and I think I have,
Unanimous. Vote.
You just have to.
If I remember, the soon-to-be former said that he was going to be a mentor, and he was going to be bringing ribs.
So, in defense of my executive director, one of the items that's on the agenda will further that initiative with the acquisition of the Old People's Barbecue spot.
hey.
May I say something?
Yes, Commissioner Reyes.
Give him some information. You know, I've been under the weather, and my doctor suggested that I need nourishment, and nourishment that I really, and he suggested that I eat ribs. So, if you want to contribute to my health, I'm expecting ribs.
I'm listening very well. I do understand the instructions.
I will ensure that happens.
Commissioner, in case anybody, after we break, calls you and gives you the story that meat is not good for you, that ribs are not good for you, especially young whippersnappers like you and I, let me tell you the following story so you can tell them. And this is when Buffalo Bill was sick, very sick, and he wanted to eat, so he asked for a buffalo steak. And his doctor told him, says, Bill, you can't have a buffalo steak, you're gonna die. He says, well, Doc, then make sure it's a real big one.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. This concludes the Southeast Overtown Park West CRA meeting for September 28th, 2023. Thank you. At this time, we are going to have
Chair,
our...
I just need just a...
1 second to flip the tape, but we're going to have our Virginia Key Beach Park Trust meeting now. Are you guys ready? At this time, we are going to call to order the Virginia Key Beach Park Trust meeting for September 28th, 2023. Thank you all for attending. We have 2 items on the agenda today. One item is to approve the minutes for the September 9th, 2023 meeting.
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And, oh, I'm sorry. Let me open up public comment. I don't want to miss public comment. If there's anyone here to speak, seeing none, our second item is to appoint an executive director. Her name is Miss Athlete Edwards. I believe everyone has gotten a copy of her resume.
Is she here?
Miss Edwards is here. Would you please come forward? And I want to tell this very sweet story about her. Her mother, when she was pregnant with her and found out that she was having a baby, she was so in awe and inspired by Miss Athlete Range. She named her daughter Athlete. And I do not believe it is a coincidence that she is here and going to assist us in moving the charge forward to realizing a museum in that space and bringing that space to its absolute potential. And I'm so thrilled that she has stepped up to this enormous project and challenge, and it will move us forward. And I'm so happy to have her accept the position with your approval. Would you like to say something?
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank everyone here today. Can you guys hear me? The chairwoman for reaching out, obviously the chair for accepting the fact that I did want to be a part of the trust, and the board as well. I'm sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes, better.
Recovering from the flu. I want to thank the chairwoman for allowing me to be steadfast and be blessed and accept this position if it's the will of the board. I also want to thank the board as well for allowing me to come here today. And I look forward to everything that's in store for the Virginia Key Beach Trust, the legacy that we're going to lay the grounds for, and also what Athlete Range had in mission for this trust. So I just want to thank everyone here today.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
Move it.
Motion.
I have a motion and a second.
Before we vote, I just want to ask for clarification. I was all ready to vote for you, going and trust. Then I saw something in the resume that made me do one of those. And then the chair told the story that she did that gave me more comfort. But may I suggest that in your reference, you cross out this guy Larry something or other Jr.?
I have a motion and a second.
Welcome.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
As
Welcome.
amended.
Thank you. And that will conclude the Virginia Key Beach Park Trust meeting. And we are now going to go into the Omni CRA meeting when they turn the tape. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. Good afternoon.
Sir, my apologies. We just need 60 more seconds as we're
Six?
flipping the tape. 60.
60.
60. You got it slow.
Commissioner, please let the Executive Director of the Southeast CRA understand that we mean business.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we don't want to be played with anymore on the ribs, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely. We should take action.
Yeah,
We should let them know that there are consequences.
yeah.
I don't know what we're going to do, but we're going to do something.
Seeing today, since you were sick, I was looking forward to it because I would have eaten yours so they wouldn't have gotten to waste.
You would have had an extra ration.
Yeah.
Oh, Joe, you don't change.
Todd, are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we are, Chair.
Thank you. We are now in the Omni CRA meeting of September 28th, 2023. Good afternoon, everyone. The meeting will now come to order. Is there a motion for the July 13th, 2023
Motion.
Omni CRA meeting minutes?
Oh, you gotta have a public comment.
Motion by Ms. King,
Second.
second by Commissioner Reyes. All in favor, well, before I do that, is there anyone from the public that would like to comment on that or on anything else? Going twice. Gone. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 It passes unanimously. Mr. Executive Director, can you briefly please read the agenda and item number 1 into the record?
Good afternoon, Board, and congratulations to Commissioner Cobo.
Thank you.
We are presenting the Omni CRA 23-24 budget, and it reads as a resolution of the Board of Commissioners of the Omni Redevelopment District Community Redevelopment Agency, CRA, with attachments approving and adopting the CRA's proposed general operating budget and tax increment fund budget for the fiscal year commencing October 1st, 2023, and ending September 30th of 2024, directing the Executive Director to transmit a copy of the budget to the City of Miami and Miami-Dade County.
Is there any discussion from the board members regarding this resolution?
No.
No.
Mr. Chair, just, this will be adopted as modified. There's a minor issue, a scrivener's error in the last whereas clause, so we'll amend it to read consistent with Section 2 of the body, but it's a minor change, and we'll adopt it as modified, if you would.
Okay, is the maker and seconder of the motion
As
in
amended.
agreement?
Thank
As
you.
amended?
Thank you.
Okay, so it's as amended. Is there a motion for CRA Resolution 1?
Move it.
Second.
Been moved by Commissioner Reyes, second by Commissioner Cobo. Hearing no further discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 It passes unanimously. Thank you for everyone being here today. This meeting, unless the Executive Director has anything else that he would like to bring up.
Know everything moving forward. I'm happy that I have a chair lady woman to direct and help with our projects. So I look forward to working with Commissioner Cobo as the
Very
chair.
good.
Thank you. So first woman, chairwoman of the CRA, of the Omni CRA?
I think so, yeah. That should make it a lot more interesting.
See, Madam Chair? Women power.
Okay?
Thank you.
So this meeting is now adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, Board.
See you all back
Thank
here
you.
at
Thank you.
4 o'clock.
Congratulations.